can't believe this is the chairman wanting to spend an hour talking to me about idli and he was excited like a little kid. And this man called up. He apparently buys our product every day in the Tambaram station. We sell about 100 boxes in the Tambaram railway station on a daily basis. And so he apparently buys it every morning. And he called up all grateful. He said, "Sir, நான் உங்களை ரொம்ப நாளா பேசணும்னு நினைச்சேன். உங்களால தான் எனக்கு இப்போ வேலையே இருக்கு." So I'm looking at this again and saying, I thought I was making idlis. When did I get into the health food business, and how did government become my customer? All I tried to do was to make the best possible idli I can. That was it. It was pretty simple. I wanted to make the best possible idlis I could possibly do.
Today's Evam Soapbox features True Stories project, and we're focusing on stories of startups and entrepreneurs. So, featuring stories of don't startup entrepreneurs heard is today's True Story project at the Evam Soapbox.
Hello. As Karthik said, I make idlis for a living. Pretty straightforward business, idlis, right? All of you know it. And I've been doing this for the last 4 years. And we make idlis in all kinds of different shapes. You know, we changed the shape of the idli from the conventional round one to a nice little cuboid bar. And we started shipping it out. We coated it with molga pudi instead of the usual chutney sambar. We put it in nice boxes. So we thought out of the box and put it in a box. And we started shipping it out. So we make idlis in different shapes, sizes, flavors, colors, packaging, all kinds of fun stuff. And we've been doing it to a whole bunch of shops, railway stations, trains, airports, tea kades, whatever. Now, I've had a lot of fun doing this for the last 4 years, but at the end of 4 years, I'm now utterly confused. What is the real business? And I'll explain to you why. But before I do that, I just want to say I had a great career in the conventional corporate sense before I kind of started making idlis. And so some of the experiences I've had in the last 4 years are quite interesting, to say the least. So let me talk to you about some of them. First one was, I got a chance to meet this huge automobile giant with our idlis one. And everything from my past experience suggested that at best I'll get a 2-minute conversation with him. He'll be polite, and then he'll forward me to some one of his head of admin or head of HR or something to go talk about idlis, etc. So I was only partially light there. He was very polite. Where I was utterly wrong was in terms of the amount of time he gave me. First of all, he surprised the hell out of me because he came out to the reception to meet me, right? How often does a billionaire do that? And then he grabbed me by the hand and I gave him my 2-minute spiel, which I'd, practiced for about 10 times. Saying, okay, I've got 2 minutes with this man. We all used to this elevator pitch. So 2 minutes, and we went out there, and he looks at me in surprise and he says, "You don't want to talk to me more?" I'm like, "I'm ready to talk to you, but I thought you're the busy billionaire." And so he says, No, come with me. I want to talk to you. This is really interesting, and I have a lot of questions to ask you about this idli. And so he says, "I'll give you good coffee." And so he drags me by my arm. He cancels a couple of appointments that day, and he sits down to talk to me for 1 hour about idli and molga pudi. So he wants to know what proportions we use, because he says this is so nice and soft. And then he revealed something which was so fascinating, which I didn't expect at all. He said in his house, he is the one who makes the molga pudi. Not a cook. He doesn't buy it out or anything. He says, "I make my molga pudi, so I want to know exactly where you buy, how much ulundu are you using? Is it with the tole, without the tole? Yellu podrela?" And I was like, "Are you allergic to sesame, man?" Because I know some people are. I can't believe this is the chairman wanting to spend an hour talking to me about idli, and he was excited like a little kid. And so I'm like, I thought I was making idlis, and that was it. And here I have this VVIP, to call him the least, wanting to sit and talk to me about recipes and asking me to come to his house and explain how to arachify molga pudi and all that stuff. So that kind of surprised me. And there have been a few other instances like that. Now, but it's not always only VVIPs. The other day, I got a call from a factory worker in Tambaram, and this man called up. He apparently buys our product every day in the Tambaram station. We sell about 100 boxes in the Tambaram railway station on a daily basis, and so he apparently buys it every morning, and he called up all grateful. He said, "Sir, நான் உங்களை ரொம்ப நாளா பேசணும்னு நினைச்சேன். உங்களால தான் எனக்கு இப்போ வேலையே இருக்கு." Because he was explaining that in his family, due to some circumstances, he can't get food in the morning in his house. Complex story he told me. Food in the factory is provided, lunchtime is okay. And night time, he says, again, he is all set. But mornings, எனக்கு சாப்பிடாம, I couldn't go to work. I was going late. I was having all these problems. So he was so grateful. And I'm sitting here listening to the story and saying, I thought I was making idli. Here is a guy, I didn't realize I was helping careers. I didn't realize I was helping family businesses. You know, families kind of get sorted out and stuff like that. Even stranger was a call that I once got from the residence council. Keeps throwing parties all the time, and being in Chennai, a large number of South Indian people land up and a large number of them are vegetarian. And he says, the whole problem with South Indian vegetarians is that they don't want to eat anything healthy. He says, if I offer them, because he says, I feel guilty, I am responsible, I can't be dishing out unhealthy food. And he says, if I offer paneer or tofu or any of the vegetarian options that I think are healthy, they don't even want to touch it. And so I don't want them to go hungry, so I'm forced to offer bhaji, bonda, pakoda, french fries, chips, you know, all the deep fried stuff. And he was feeling miserable about it. And he says, for the first time now, we've discovered this idli, which seems to be a terrific option. It's steamed, it's healthy. Everybody seems to love it. It's the first thing that's getting over. So I'm looking at this again and saying, I thought I was making idlis. When did I get into the health food business, and how did government become my customer? Right? But the most touching story I've had is a lady calls me up at 9 in the morning, absolutely frantic. You could hear the urgency. She said, are you open? I want Kanjivaram idlis desperately for my daughter. I said, sure ma'am, come over, we'll make it fresh for you. And to make polite conversation, I say, how old is your daughter? And she says, she's going to be born next month. And I'm like, did I hear that right? And then she explains that she had landed at 2 in the morning from the US. She had apparently eaten our Kanjivaram idli some 4 months ago when she was in India. And she had landed again now for her pregnancy. She had come to her mother's house. And during this entire period of 4 months that she was in the US, she was going through these severe cravings. And so she lands at 2, and the first, she says, I was waiting for 9 to call you. I need this Kanjivaram idli. My daughter is craving it desperately. It was a very moving and touching thing. And so again, you know, all this makes me wonder. I started off making idlis primarily to kind of fulfill a need. I said, you know, people on the go don't get fresh food. Let me make it interesting. Let me change the shape, package it, you know, give them some comfort food for people on the go. But suddenly I find myself, you know, people looking at me saying, I'm saving tradition, I'm in the health food business, I'm kind of building connections and emotional connects, I'm saving families and helping jobs, people hold on to their jobs. I'm like, what am I really doing? And so every day now when I go to work, I don't know what new experiences are going to come. And I'm trying to think, why is all this happening? And if I think and pause and think a little bit about it, all I tried to do was to make the best possible idli I can. That was it. It was pretty simple. I wanted to make the best possible idlis I could possibly do. But I think when you do something like that, it seems to me now that it seems to mean different things. It takes a shape of its own. It starts meaning different things to different people. And so here I am, 4 years later, totally confused, very happy. I thought I was trying to define and change the shape of the idli, but I think it is the idli that is defining and shaping me. Thank you.
Money is seldom the reason why people don't start businesses. Fear of money is. Failures will far outnumber successes. Make failure a friend. Become familiar with it, know how to look it in the eye and find out more about it. People do business with people they like and are familiar with. To most people, you are the business. What makes an entrepreneur special is the bridge of intelligence between the left and the right brain, the bridge between business and art. Don't start up what no one tells you about starting your business. If you know somebody in your life who you believe should start up their own venture or has started up their own venture, if you are that person yourself who's waiting with trepidation saying, I don't know if I should start up on my entrepreneurial journey, this book is for you, because this has been written with every single thought that I wish I had known 15 years back before I started up on my entrepreneurial journey. An EQ manual, so to speak, on helping you through your startup journey. Don't start up. Available on Amazon and all the book sites, and available at a bookstore near you.